What is up, fam? I hear so many vloggers say that. I'm just like, that's sweet. Yeah, on a run. It's my day off. I haven't been on here in a long time because work is exhausting. It's a good exhausting. You know, you have to pick and choose your battles. And if like you're doing work, people that don't appreciate you, quit, literally quit. It's so important to work for a team that does. And also, so you know you're not wasting your time, like doing stuff that's really aligns with you and just feels good. You'll know, and you'll know when it doesn't feel good too. Anyways, it's a really beautiful day. And I was like, obviously, I'm always on the fence about, not on the fence about a run, but it's like always like a decision I make. And I was like, you know what? It is such a completely gorgeous day that I would be foolish not to run. And the sun is out, and this is the funniest thing. I work with a bunch of elderly people with dementia. And so obviously everything on my mind is always, how can I help them? How can I lighten their load of dementia? Whatever. Hopefully we find a cure for that as well. But in terms of cures for things, I'm still, you know, studying nutrition and studying cancer research. Speaking of, I'm currently at the first house my parents ever bought together, which was in Encinitas, California. They had my first sister here, so it's a really special spot. But yeah, oh my God, I'll have to show you. It is so pretty. I see a seal out there. It's just phenomenal. It's gorgeous. Also, so speaking of that kind of stuff, yeah, that's like my main interest really in life. But yeah, so I noticed that a lot of the women and men that are more alert, I want to say, they're always sitting in the sun, and they make it a part of their day to sit in the sun. It's a huge thing I noticed this week, and I even made sure that we got some sun time yesterday. So towards the end of the day, when the sun wasn't as bright, and it was just, you know, it was before dinner, it was gonna start going down in an hour, I made sure that we all sat out in the sun. And some of them were like, this feels so good. Obviously you get the complaints too, and I'm just like, fuck my life. But for the most part, it's a good thing. And then of course, I'm telling you, like, synchronicity after synchronicity. I watched my favorite doctor posted on YouTube saying that he believes this avoiding the sun can cause cancer. And that is obviously like, there's so many beliefs around that. And because the sun has caused skin cancer for a lot of people. But he makes note, he says that the melanoma, the more dangerous one, is always in parts of the body where they're unexposed to the sun. But also, what I truly believe is that, look, there's no way that the universe gave us the sun and was like, this is actually going to kill you. The sun gave us life. The sun is the first thing that gave us life on Earth. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't be here. It's not supposed to be a threat to life. It is inducing life, producing life. It's when you introduce toxic chemicals to the sun, like nicotine, tobacco, alcohol, other chemicals in food, etc., that no one really wants to talk about, but it's true. When you introduce that to the sun, of course it's going to be a threat. The sun is so powerful in the most beautiful way. It creates life. But anything with power also has the power to destroy. That's what I was explaining to my residents. The sun is so powerful that obviously we're perfectly positioned. It's just a miracle to be alive. We're so perfectly positioned that the sun creates life. But if we were any closer, it would destroy it. I'm telling you, it is a balancing act. It is a perfect miracle of life as I watch a seal float in the mystical waters. Like, so yeah, it's really when you introduce harsh chemicals, of course, with power becomes toxic. Anything. You can apply that to anything. It's like a basic equation, I really believe. Yeah, so anyways, also, I was kind of teaching my residents about foraging food. And if you forage your food, it's not only better for the environment, but this is just a little sour candy. These little flowers, you can actually chew the ends. You know, I think if I juiced these, you could juice these and literally use it as like citric acid for a sour candy or lemonade to sour up your lemonade. Not that you would need that. Okay, anyways, we also learned about the color yellow. I had a resident, Carl. He's probably like many of you who he's not really a part of our group circle of friends, but he just comes because otherwise he'll be just sitting in the lobby twiddling his feet. He was joining us and I said, Carl, you're gonna join us today? And he's like, what? So we can learn about the color yellow again? First of all, really proud that he remembered that. So there's a plus. At least he remembered what we talked about. That's none of my residents will ever remember what we talked about. Carl did, but Carl didn't like it. So that's, you know, plus and minuses. He remembered it, didn't like it. My other residents probably do like it, they just won't remember it. So cute. Yeah, so we learned about the color yellow and how, yes, it can be a sign of caution and things like that, but really it's supposed to evoke happiness and positivity. And it was actually my mom's favorite color. And it's not a lot of people's favorite color, but it was her favorite color. And I loved that about her. She always tried to see the light in the dark. And so, yeah, I do a lot of things in honor of her. And yeah, that's my little lesson for the day. So get some sun. Obviously don't burn yourself, but the sun it's important. So speaking of the sun, I looked up, there's literally a ring around the sun today. I don't know if that's an eclipse or what, but that's never up there. That's literally just talking about the benefits of the sun. Just finished a run and kind of did some walking back, which is very important too. Sometimes I just forget to walk. I've heard the phrase, you've got to learn to walk before you run so many times, which is true. And like after my fall, I just went kind of straight back into running. So I don't know, it's always good to practice both, obviously. There's just different forms of each. I'm gonna go do some weight training. I'm gonna have a little recovery drink with my electrolyte water, the LMNT, and let's see, what flavor should I do? There's watermelon or citrus. And I'm feeling the watermelon for some reason. So good. So yeah, then head outside for some strength training. Also, I looked up the reason there's a ring around the sun, and I thought it was like something scary, like a chemtrail kind of vibe, you know, like build up, basically like gas build up, but it's really just ice crystals from out yonder that have collected around the sun. Super interesting. Okay, so post run, honestly, I'm not very hungry after my runs, so I'm thirsty though after my runs. The best thing that I think you can do, because first of all, when you're running, your body temperature, your homeostasis, it heats up. Your body, that's why we sweat, right? Simple, I don't need to get that deep into it. Your body heats up, you produce heat, you're running, you're creating friction. Then when you stop, your body heat actually dramatically drops, which is why they recommend that you work out right after your runs usually, or do your strength training fairly after, so you don't completely drop into resting state again. You want to keep that heat and friction up. Honestly, I did about 7 miles plus 3 walking. So, give or take a mile maybe. So I am exhausted physically. I did some weights, but honestly on my long run days, I don't really weight train. I really ideally save weight training for the weekday when I have time to go to the gym. These days have been becoming my these are my days off. I really just want to do things that I enjoy, because during the week I really work really hard, and I just need the rest. Like, my job is physically and emotionally taxing, and so I love it, but it is. And so they really recommend, when it comes to like healthcare or taking care of people, it's so important to take days for yourself. I don't have any time for myself during the week, like at all. And I'm not really used to that. And it's hard and it sucks because I really love being by myself, like spending time by myself. I love these things. So I'm kind of in a pickle there, because selfishly, I want to be able to rest and have rest days and just whatever. But when I really think about it, I'm so lucky to work where I work. So anyways, that being said, I digress. Oh my God, I need to stay focused. Your body heat goes back to homeostasis, or back to your regular body heat, even possibly drops. I don't know if you've noticed this, but runners too, you tend to get colder easily. You've burnt your fat, you're burning your storage units, and so you do get more sensitive to the cold. I think the best thing you can do, and I've seen a couple people talk about bone broth. I mean, it's so common now. Bone broth is so great, but especially after you've run, and if you're one of the runners like me who really don't feel hungry after I run till hours later, heat some bone broth up on the stove with some lemon or just alone and sip on it to recalibrate your body back to warmth after that drop. I also warmed up some coffee. And I never thought about it this way, but coffee is an acid. And so when you directly drink an acid first thing in the morning with nothing in your body because you've been sleeping throughout the night, you've basically fasted throughout the night, that acid will eat away at whatever is there. But I saw, her name is Lauren Bostic, the Skinny Confidential, and she's a lot of great stuff on there on her Instagram. But I saw that she sips bone broth in the morning, but with her coffee before she eats drinks her coffee. That is a total game changer. I think that's so important because then you have a protein and possibly some fat and carbs in there that the acid can eat away at. And it doesn't have, and it's not like a heavy meal, right? Because I don't know, I'm not a morning eater. I really like to I think it's a really great idea to pair your bone broth with coffee. Need something to balance out the acid. Anywho, but for running and also after a long run, bone broth, warm it up, and just kind of re-level back to a nice, healthy, warm internal body after, the come down.